So now we're going to discuss about the chapter 3 summary or all about the chapter 3. So chapter 3 is all about the network protocols and communication. So what is communication? Communication begins with a message or information that must be sent from the source to the destination. So there are message encoding, which means encoding is the process of converting information into another acceptable form for transmission. So in encoding, you are converting your message to another um, form. Decoding is the reverse process of the encoding. Encapsulation process of placing message format inside another message format. This is the encapsulation. From the word step encapsulation, which means you are putting something into something. And decapsulation is the reverse process of it. So there are message timing, which is the rules of engagement. When you say access method, it is determined when someone is able to send a message. So access method is all about able or of a sender to send a message. So in next is the flow control. It is all about timing and timing is also affect how much information can be sent and the speed that it can be delivered in the communication. And next is the response timeout. What is response timeouts? Hosts on the network also have a rules that specify how long to wait for the response. So from the word itself, response timeout response, which means it's defined on how long to wait for the responses. So there are three message delivery options: the unicast, multicast, and broadcast. What is the difference between the three? Unicast is one-to-one delivery option or one single destination. It is like, for example, communicating to a friend to another friend. You and your friend, your best friend, only both of you, the two of you, or the two of us are only talking. So it is unicast if it is one-to-one. And the multicast is the one-to-many. For example, you are um, reporting in front of the class. In unicast is in multicast, in multicast, you are going to send a message to a group of people. Then the last one is the broadcast. For example, a DJ in a radio was telling the message he want to tell, and it can hear by many people, not only a group but a many people. That is what we call broadcast. So next is the network protocols. For devices, to successfully communicate a network, protocols must be described, precise requirement, and interaction. So there are the common network protocols, the hypertext transfer protocol, or what we call the HTTP, the transmission control protocol, or the TCP, and the internet protocol, or the IP. So HTTP is application protocol that governs the way server and web client interact. So in HTTP application protocol that governs the way, it is all about the way server and web client interact. And the TCP is the transmission control protocol. From its self-transmission, it is all about the transport protocol that manage the individual conversation. And the last one is the internet protocol. So, or the IP. We are familiar with the IP because we are using some IP addresses or internet protocol addresses, which is one of the common uses is the uh, where known IP is the IPv4 and IPv6. What is Ethernet? What is the difference with it from the internet to it and Ethernet? Ethernet is network access protocol that is described from primary function. Communication over data, link, physical transmission of data on the network. Then I will tell to you the the protocols um the protocol suite. What is protocol suite? Protocol suite is a set of protocols that work together to provide comprehensive network and communication service. TCP or IP open standard, freely available to public and any vendors available implementing these protocols to their hardware or in the software. The standard-based protocol process that has been endorsed by network industries and approved by the standard organization. So I will mention you some dates that was happened which involve the network. So the so for example in 1981, did you know that in 1981 TCP and IP protocols are formalized? So in this year TCP and IP protocols are present. So in 1982 Interior Gateway Protocol or EGP is developed to allow routers to exchange network information. So in 1892, to allow the routers to exchange network information, so they create Interior Gateway Protocol. So in 1984, this is the date where the Domain Name Server or DNS is introduced. So next is the and I know most of you are familiar with the www dot or World Wide Web. It was in 1991 that Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Katelow made it. So now in 2011, the first word IPv6 on June 8, 2010, and many website internet service providers around the world. So such as including the Google, Facebook, and Yahoo, they are now using IPv6. Participated with more than 1,000 other companies for the worldwide trial of the IPv6. Now I'm going to tell you about the TCP/IP protocol suite or the communication, or I mean the layers. So in TCP/IP, the layers are the application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. So later I will discuss all about that. And the DNS. What is the DNS? DNS stands for Domain Name System. It translates domain names such as Cisco into IP address. For example, a domain name system, the www.google.com, www.cisco.com, like that. The Internet Protocol used to transmit the IP packet over the physical medium used by the LAN. So let's talk about now open standards. What is open standard? Encourages interoperability, competition, and innovation. They also guarantee that no single company product can monopolize the market or have an unfair advantage over its competition. Now I'm going to compare what is the OSI model versus the TCP/IP model. So OSI model, these models named by the numbers, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 7. So first, and then the TCP/IP model is only have 4 layers or 4 models: the network access, the internet, transport, and application I said earlier. Basic and an OSI model, there are 7 layers, which are the physical data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and the application. So for physical, it is of course the devices which physical electronic function and process means to activate physical connection. The wires included that. In data link, it is the exchange of data frames between devices. When it comes to data link, it is the data link. When it's network, exchange the individual pieces of data. So after the data link is going to the network, which is exchange the individual pieces of data. And then the transport segment. The transport is a segment transfer and reassemble data for individual communication between the end devices. Then the session to provide the presentation layer to organize its dialogue and to manage data exchange. Next is the presentation. Presentation or representational of the data transferred between application layer. An application is the process to process communication. Again, the OSI model are the physical data number 1, physical 2 data link, 3 network, 4 transport, 5 session, 6 the presentation, and the last one, the 7 is the application. So the TCP/IP model and it was created in 1970s or the internet model. So it composed the application, transport, internet, and the network access. Network access control the hardware devices and media that make up the network. Next is the internet determine the best path through the network. The transport is the one that support communication between various devices across diverse network. And the last is the application represent data to the user plus encoding and dialogue control. So this is for my summary for the chapter